Good morning, everybody. Here, Saudi Arabia. Today, I welcome all my fans, followers who supporting my channel. Today, I will give a brief statement and overview of Chinatown in New York, United States of America. Brief history of Chinatown, New York, some historical facts. New York, Chinatown, is the second oldest Chinatown in the US, but San Francisco has the oldest Chinatown. In the middle 19th century, the main entry point to the United States for tens of thousands immigrants who came to the US seeking to make a fortune from the gold rush of 848. Think the gold rush in 1848 Gregorian date. Many Chinese immigrants found work building the transcontinental railroads, but because Chinese laborers would work for less money than American workers, they suffered terrible discrimination. When the railroad was completed, Chinese workers moved east, seeking work and to escape their bad experience in the West. Chinese men continued to flock to America where they could earn higher wages than in China and better support their families who not could not legally accompany them to the United States due to the 1882 Chinese Exclusion Act. By 1900, the estimated population of Chinese men in New York City was 7,000, with a ratio of men to women almost 200. Thus, in the early days of Chinatown, America were often sponsored by Chinese theaters, where they would perform at exotic Chinese theaters where upper class worthy men would visit. The strict quota and immigration laws were relaxed and eventually repealed in 1943. In the decades since, Chinese immigration to New York has exploded, and the original boundaries of Chinatown have expanded, taking over much of Little Italy and the Lower East Side. In fact, the original Chinatown enclave in Manhattan is no longer the largest Chinatown in the city. one will find larger Chinese populations in Flushing, Elmhurst in Queens, and Sunset Park in Brooklyn. Some says that Manhattan's Chinatown is less authentic than these other areas because of the many tourist-focused stores selling sodas. But as you walk through the narrow window streets of Chinatown, stopping at key historical locations, some over 200 years old, you'll see that it feels authentic indeed. How to go to Chinatown? There are many ways to arrive in Chinatown, and the Canal Street subway station is the closest to the starting point for this tour. The New York City and Company information kiosk at 210 Canal Street. Regardless how you decide to get here, we recommend using directions starting points. All the major hop and hop of buses offer at least one stop in Chinatown. And if you are considered a hop and hop of bus, keep in mind that most are already included in the price of the various New York City tourist attraction discounts passes. Now, let's talk about the Chinatown food and restaurants. There is an overwhelming number of restaurants, food and shops, and food carts in Chinatown, and here are a few of our favorites. The Chinatown food is very cheap, and it estimates to be no more than $5 a snack. Now, try Hopkey 21 Mott Street, corner of Moscow Street, basement level, serving the Cantonese classics like lobster and white sauce, sweet and sour pork, and lo mein since 1968. This bustling restaurant in a clean, well-lit basement level space is a favorite among New Yorkers hungry for a nostalgic meal at very good prices. This huge banquet hall sized restaurant serves dim sum, a meal of small plates of dumpling with a variety of fillings, lit, lit like pork, shrimp, or vegetables, steamed bams, ribs, seafood, and other Chinese dishes. This is a perfect way to try many dishes to fairly low prices. Traditionally, dim sum is served on the weekends only, and early in the day, sort of like brunch. However, many restaurants in Chinatown now serve it on weekdays as well, though the atmosphere is much more energetic on weekends. When having dim sum, instead of ordering from a menu, you are given a large ticket on which the waiters keep track of what you can eat. Choose your food from the carts being pushed around by servers. If you see something like, stop the waiter, point at the item, and give your food tickets. Often the servers don't speak much English, so you may just have to wait and be surprised about what you selected to try. This huge bank hall is a feast for the eyes and stomach. If you're a big group, you will get your own table, but when it is crowded, you will have to wait in the crowded lobby until a table is free. There is also the option to sit round communal tables. A small and cheap restaurant that is adored by New Yorkers. The dough that makes their noodles are literally pulled and stretched out by hand. They are served in broth or by themselves with add-ins such as a duck, chicken, or vegetable, and they receive only cash for that. The fried dumpling, 106 Moscow Street. This shop is a hole in the wall, but you can't miss it as there is usually a short line to get five fried pork dumpling for $1.25. The ladies at the counter are very fast and don't have time for questions, so be ready with $1 in your hand. Forks are to the right of the register, and there is hot sauce on the tiny counter across from the open kitchen where you can see your dumplings. Where you can see from your dumplings for a $1.25. The ladies at the counter are very fast and don't have time for questions to be ready with the dollar in your hand. Forks are to the right of the register, and there is hot sauce on the tiny counter across from the open kitchen, where you can see your dumplings being made. They also have pork, buns, and vegetarian dumplings, but they cost a bit more and aren't as good as their signature dish. Another restaurant offering very close to Chinatown or China Ice Cream Factory, 65 Bayou Street between Elizabeth and Mall Street, serves a $5 scoop. It is a bit pricey, but they have unusual flavors like ginger, wasabi, and black sesame seed. There are plenty of old-fashioned American flavors as well. They also do a great job with familiar flavors such as mint chip, chocolate, peanut butter, and vanilla fudge. Mainly Wow Bakery, 64 Bryan Street between Elizabeth and Wall Streets. This is the place to get steamed or baked pork buns in Chinatown. A juicy, tender, and tangy pork fills the buns at cost less than $1. If you are a vegetarian or just want to try something different, try the Lotus best steamed buns with the consistency of peanut butter and the taste similar to that of chestnuts. You have another restaurant named Gold Steamer. Gold Steamer is located 143 Most Street between Hester and Grand Streets. Tucked away in a small storefront among the bustling fish market, you'll find the most delicious pumpkin steamed buns in all of New York City. The road, the roast pork pans are good too, and there is an array of sweet and savory baked and steamed items ranging from $1 to $3. Now, the big deal is the House of Vegetarians, 68 Moses Street between Bayard and Canal Street. You don't have to feel like you are missing out on a great duck while you are in Chinatown. This folk work miracles with tofu, wheat gluten, and seitan. We especially like the mock, duck appetizer, orange beef entree, and steamed dumplings. Another restaurant, Dim Sum Go Go 5 in Broadway and Chatham Square. If you feel like having dim sum but want to leave behind the misery of pointing at unknown foods from Wild Card, try the Server restaurant. Menus are provided with a food description and photos of the food. Prices are great, and the assorted dumpling platters are a great way to try several different types of dumpling. The vegetarian dumpling platter is both beautiful to look at and delicious to eat. Now we reach the most appealing side of Chinatown is time of shopping. If you are looking for jewelry, handbags, perfume, and glasses, walk along Canal Street between Broadway and Mulberry Street. You will have many shops to choose from. Don't be shy about haggling. You are allowed to negotiate. Try it, and you may get a better deal. Though we don't endorse purchasing knockoff counterfeit handbags, we can provide you with information about where and how to do this. Don't forget selling counterfeit goods is a crime, so be careful in who you deal with. Here are some tips. First, you can visit legitimate stores licensed to sell goods. Merchandise can sometimes be knockoffs of your favorites, have brands or have logos meant to resemble those of the fancy name brand bags. If a shop does carry fake bags, they won't make it obvious, and you will have to go to the way back of the shop and have a look. Another option is to look for illegal street peddlers selling knockoff sunglasses, handbags, and watches out of suitcases or on sheets laid out on the sidewalk. If they suddenly pack up and run off, it means that they have spotted the police. For those brave enough, you can deal with individual sellers who presumably have better quality counterfeit items. These people stand on street corners, notably Moat, Mulberry, Baxter Street, on the north side of Canal Street, and will walk past you saying quietly handbag purse to women or watches to men. If you indicate you are interested, they will take you off to the site and discreetly show you pictures of the items they have. If you want to make a purchase, you then follow them to semi-secret, but generally, if sorry, but generally safe locations to complete the deal. Now, the free tours by foods. We have some agencies that offer several pay what you like tours that are focused on or include Chinatown in Manhattan or Soho. Little Italy and Chinatown tour runs twice every day. and spends more 45 minutes in Chinatown. Sometimes we ran for visits of Chinatown as part of two other history working tours. The Chinatown Tour Food Tour. This is a 2-hour tour that explores both the food and history of Chinatown. This runs on a weekly basis. See our current tour calendar for our tours, times, and descriptions. New York City tourist buses, both the New York Bus and the New York Explorer Bus, include guided food and history tours of China for free. These buses can be very valuable. And if you are planning on visiting many attractions, bus tours, all the major hop-on companies have at least one stop in Chinatown. You will get a narration of the neighborhood from the onboard tour guide while you drive through. For a more guided tour, consider the bus companies that offer a tour guide who gets off the bus with you and walks you through the neighborhood. Very few neighborhoods encapsulate the diversity and international draw of New York City like Chinatown. Interestingly enough, this neighborhood sits in the place of former famous neighborhood in New York. The 5 pounds immortalized in the book and film Gangs of New York, a relatively new phenomenon in city Chinatown, is still growing. Join the free tours into this ongoing peak and visits. Also, part of the tour, you will see the restaurants. You will see the restaurants and stores that make up the everyday life there. You will be approached by street vendors selling everything from exotic fruits to questionable brand name handbags. You will often congregate to talk about local happenings and play their cards and board games. All the sights and stuff Chinatown will paint a picture that will make the world feel small, while at the same time remind you of just how big it really is. Here are the sites that we'll cover on the tour. Columbus Park, Church of Transfiguration, Nomoa Chibala, Chatham Square, Cherries Israel Cemetery, Kim Lau Memorial Ark, Edward Mooney House, Manhattan Bridge, Mahayana Buddhist Temple, Museum of China's in Americas, Manhattan Bridge entrance. For tour and attractions, the tour duration will take you an estimated 2 to 3 hours to complete in full, especially if you decide to stop in and explore some shops inside. This includes time to stop, eat, and relax. Baxter Street and the Manhattan House of Detention. Throughout the 1700s, the area west of Baxter Street and South Canal Street was a swampy area known as Collex Pond, which provided drinking water to colony in New York. In 1811, city drained the area by building a canal which was later covered over in 1821 and was named, of course, Canal Street. In 1838, the land where the swamp was became the site of New York City's main jail because the building was built to resemble an Egyptian mausoleum. The jail came to be called the Tombs Herald Lane to photo from 1893. The original building was torn down. Eventually, a new modern Manhattan House of Detention was erected It is still referred to as the Towns by attorneys and prosecutors today. Manhattan Criminal Court Building is the courthouse located next to the House of Detention. Inmates with court dates are brought from jail and to the courthouse building over a railway, over a walkway located several floors up connecting to two buildings known as the bridge. The Columbus Park. Immerse yourself in Chinese culture by spending a few minutes in this small but lively park, the Columbus Parks, where many elderly Chinese people come to play cards, mahjong, and other Chinese games. Then you have Doyle Street, a non-wow tea park. For such a small street, Doyle's has the biggest. The street is named for Hendrik Doyer, an 18th century Dutch immigrant who owned the land on which the street sits. He operated as this street where the post office now stands. Doyer is an oldly curved street, the result of having been laid out prior to the city's official street creation policy. The Commission Grid Plan of 1811 mandating that any new street conform to the still existing grid pattern. Now, Manhattan Bridge interest. Though the first thing you will notice about the interest in the Manhattan Bridge is the traffic and constant gridlock, take a moment to admire the Grand Markway and colonnade to the bridge. It was designed by one of the most famous architectural firms of the early 20th century, Carreri, and Hastings to design the magnificent New York Public Library at Fifth Avenue and 42nd Street. Now, 10 rent tea time 7 at Mall Street. Fantastic shop for tea connoisseurs where you can sample hundreds of different varieties of whole leaf teas. Founded in 1953 in Taiwan by Ray Ho Lee, 10 Ren is Taiwan's largest tea shop chain with 113 outlets worldwide. Generous Tea Vancouver store was featured as a challenge location in an episode of The Amazing Race Canada, and the selection at this shop is just as amazing. I hope that I covered all sites in Manhattan, New York City. Wish you all the best. God bless you. Bye bye.